Hello for another Wednesday Wisdom. And today I'm really excited because we're getting to the meat a little bit on the R&D tax credit. So if you've been with me for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about, what is the R&D tax credit, who would qualify, kind of what's research, what's not research, which is as equally as important as what is research. So today I want to really get into the expenses. This is where you can really start gauging how much can I get in R&D tax credits? And everybody wants to know, how much can I get, right? And that's the question that I get all the time. Well, if I do this, how much, right? So let's dive into what kind of expenses would actually qualify. So what expenses are going to be eligible for your credit? So you have to understand, remember what we talked about in the last couple of weeks. We talked about, what's the R&D? You've got to create, design, right? And improve either a new product, a process, a system, or you can just have an existing one that you're going for improvements on the technological side, on many different areas. So what are the expenses that you can use to create that in your business? And one of the first things that I want to say is in-house research expenses are going to be the biggest category, and then contract. So in-house is probably the biggest piece that people have. Very few people contract these expenses. A lot of innovation happens, a lot of trade secrets, and because of that, most of the R&D that we see is being done in-house. Very little is being contracted. Now, you have to remember also what we talked last time. All this work has to be in the United States, right? It cannot be outsourced. So let's talk about the in-house research expenses. So on the research expenses, could be wages and supplies, right? So wages paid to the employees engaged in this qualified research. So we identified that we are going to create a brand new software for, let's say, a property management company. Okay, so let's give that example. So you have a property management company, and we have, what kind of properties do we have? We have, let's say, single family homes, and we're gonna do, what's the limit? We're gonna create something that doesn't exist, something that's innovative for the people who are renting, and you can find various reasons on how to do it. Now, how does that work? You hire the employees, right, that are actually doing this qualified research. So they're doing the research on how to create the new system, the new process of how you create this piece of software. This is called the direct expense. Or you can have the people who supervise the research, right? That's qualified too. Let's say you have a junior person working on it, and then you have someone else reviewing the work, and then you can have support, right? It could be non-research who are directly engaged in support with respect to conducting the research, right? They can be the mitigating between different parties, support, and you understand what that means. So number one in the in-house would be wages. Now, when we talk about supplies could be any type of tangible, depreciable property, right? That's used in the qualifying activity. Now, what could that be? It could be special computers, it could be special applications that you're using, right? Or some other supplies that you need. Like we have one gentleman that reached out to us, and he's creating some paper product to do some testing for pharmacies, right? So that paper, it's a supply, and they just treat it in a specific way to be able to do specific testing on it, right? It's a little pad, a little paper. So that would be supplies for them. For someone else, it would be components, it would be batteries, whatever the case might be in the supplies that you need to produce what you're trying to get, right? The final product that you're trying to do. And again, this is not just to create a product, this is for the whole research that you're doing, because you might go through several iterations of a product or a process until you get to the final product. So that was wages and supplies, and we have contract expenses. On the contract expenses, 65% of the amounts that are paid to non-employees engaged in this qualified activities would qualify. Okay, so always remember that all these expenses have to be in the United States. This is where a lot of the people are missing it, have to be in the United States, and I can't stress that enough. Okay, so key elements about the expenses: they must be incurred in conducting this your trade and business, research leading to a new product, right? That would either be a new something new that you are bringing in the industry, it cannot be a new business, right? If you're creating a brand new business with your product, that is not eligible. Okay, so you have to remember that. If an employee spends at least 80% of their time on these activities, all of their wages will be qualified, which is a great tool. And all these general administrative expenses like utilities are not qualified. Your rent, sharing the space, doing all of this, paying vacation, paying all of this might not all be qualified. So I want to leave you with that. So I want you to kind of note down, what do you have? You have wages in the US, you have any type of materials and supplies that you're using for the activity that you're creating, and you can have contract wages or contractors, independent contractors in the United States. I hope this is helpful. I would love to know if you think you're qualified. Book a conversation with me. We'll have the link down below. And I would love to have that 30-minute free R&D tax assessment with you. And I invite you to book that call to see, are you qualified? And if you're qualified, are you maximizing your tax credit? We love to look at that. And as a CPA firm, we love to integrate that with everything else that you're doing, which is one of the key elements that we'd love to provide you with the big picture tax strategy for you and your company. So if you're interested, book a call below. There's no commitment. Just jump on the call and let's see, are you qualified? Are you taking all the R&D credit that you can take? And if you're using the credit, I would love to know. Chat with me in the comments to see how you are experimenting with this credit. What was your experience over the years with this R&D credit? Or is it your first year? Are you excited? Are you scared? This is something that you don't want to tap into. You think it's illegal, which I heard that this is illegal. I would love to know in the comments, what do you think about the R&D and what's your experience with it? Until next time, all the best. Bye-bye.